Thanks for this opportunity to provide a brief message into this year's Global Town Hall. And particular thanks to Dino and Michael from Global Citizen for giving me this opportunity at a time when messy world is sadly a grave reality. More than ever, we see a world in which the toll of innocent lives being lost across multiple conflicts and humanitarian crises right around the world is growing every day. Some of these crises dominate our headlines. There's the continuing impact of Russia's illegal and immoral invasion of Ukraine, which recently passed its second anniversary. There's the devastating ramifications of Hamas's terrorist attack on Israel, approaching its first anniversary on October the 7th. Many factors will influence why some conflicts gain more attention than others. However, as global citizens, your perspective should be wide and inclusive. Less than 4 years ago, democratic Myanmar fell to a brutal military coup, which saw the imprisonment and murder of its own citizens and their suffering that has gone on for so long, continuing in even greater form. Large death tolls and millions of people have been displaced across Sudan, and war continues to rage. Iran and Afghanistan are ever increasing their repression of women and girls. This year marks 2 years since the murder of Mahsa Amini. Also 2 years ago, the UN Human Rights Office concluded that China is responsible for committing humanity crimes against the Uyghur minority in Xinjiang region. As a strong, proud liberal democracy, Australians stand by our values in defence of freedoms and liberties with strong conviction for human rights. And it's with great dismay that we see the same freedoms and rights not granted nor enjoyed by others around the world. It's for these reasons, among many others, that Australia, a founding member of the United Nations, has long been an advocate and a most active participant in multilateral institutions, treaties and cooperation. However, as the world has surged towards a more complex time, a messier time, it brings into question whether our current systems are still working. Even in the absence of those areas of hot conflict that I discussed before, we see the risk profile increasing here in our own region in the Indo-Pacific, threatening our region's status as a place of freedom and prosperity. This increased risk is evident in the destruction of democracy and civil liberties in Hong Kong, the escalation of ambitions to so-called reunify China, with consequent pressure on Taiwan and on all those who engage with Taiwan. There's the rapid build-up of the PRC's military size, capabilities and bases, including in locations beyond China. And there are increasing tensions involving territorial disputes between China and nations such as the Philippines or India. All of this, left unchecked, risks regional trade routes being controlled by one superpower, other nations finding their sovereignty compromised, or international rules and norms being rewritten by autocracies or non-market economies to the ultimate detriment of all. This does not mean that Australia, in our drive for a free and open region, seeks to contain China. Indeed, China's economic growth is welcome. It's essential to continue to lift people out of poverty. And China's engagement in world affairs should equally be welcomed. But it is reasonable that we expect China to contribute in such a way that does not undermine peace, stability, and the rules-based order. The sovereignty of all nations should be respected, protected, and upheld by each other, with respect for each other. The avoidance of conflict now depends upon both deterrence and diplomacy, working hand in hand to secure peace and stability. All of these conflicts, these crises, these tensions sit in a world where climate change and technological upheaval add to the uncertainty, while placing even greater demands on multilateral cooperation. So as I draw my remarks to a close, I pose some questions to you, our global citizens. Are the systems on which multilateralism has been built still fit for purpose? Do our international systems work as effectively as they might to secure peace, security, and prosperity? Are they not failing at the most basic and important task, which is to prevent war? You, as global citizens meeting in this global town hall, are uniquely placed to debate what steps should be taken to fix these failures. Our world will always be complex and messy, but we must reverse the trends that risk disaster and great disruption if left unchecked. I wish you well in your discussions, and as always, I look forward to hearing the outcomes and the thoughts of Global Citizen. Thank you very much.